How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another volume by volume. This week, talking about a series that sort of did the same thing for me as I'm Standing on a Million Lives, except its back interested me. This week, we're talking, as you saw in the title, about Orient. It's the next series by the mangaka who made Magi in the Labyrinth. I remember seeing that manga out and about when I used to go pick up mangas at Barnes and Nobles, but I myself never bought it. Look at this, I got a husky hair on my hat. Um, but so I saw this cover, it interested me. It's about samurai or something like that, is what I thought at the beginning. And so I picked it up and read it. It looked like an interesting shonen manga. I just love the covers. The second cover, I'm going to just show it here just because I love these covers. Here is the second volume. I've already picked it up. But their covers are just, I have them both here now. They're just, they're just fantastic covers. I love manga that have really nice looking covers. That's what gets me into them, especially when they have a really good motif going throughout them. So, what's my thoughts? The big things I'm going to point out easily is this manga has some gorgeous art. It has a lot of pages that are just full images of these awesome monsters and people that they're making in their world. I think the world's really interesting. It deals with it's like feudal Japan, but not feudal Japan. So that's a big thing that I've noticed. By the way, I probably have a fan in the background. It's super hot in Texas right now. It's raining and hot. It's just not a fun combination. So I'm trying to keep as cool as I can without sweating in my room. And then it focuses on having like a double protagonist. So instead of having like your Naruto Sasuke, where Naruto is the protagonist and Sasuke is sort of like a secondary character that's important, it seems like most of these two protagonists, their names are Musashi and Kojiro. They're going to be the main focus of the story, with Musashi being the one that we can identify with because he's not really involved in all the struggles of the world. He's just involved because he's friends with Kojiro, who is a son of a samurai. So, like always, I'm going to talk a bit about the first chapter at the beginning, and then I'll get into the later chapters. But the first chapter, plain and simple, it introduces you to Musashi and Kojiro. They're best friends growing up, and their goal is they want to be samurai because Kojiro's dad has told them about the actual good deeds that samurai have, and that samurai aren't bad, because what you learn as it's set up is in this world, demons have won. They won, they took over the world, and now they are convincing people to worship them as if they are gods and not the actual villains of the world, and things like that. So Kojiro and Musashi set out to become samurai, and it pulls a joke on you, goes like 10 years in the future, I think, or 5 years in the future, and Musashi is a miner. And he is at school shouting how he's going to be a miner for the great gods of the world, using this really weird looking pickaxe. And that's about your setup for the first chapter, is that he is like, Musashi wants to be a samurai still, but it's almost like he's lost his goal a little bit because of how oppressive the society is on worshipping and being with the demon lords that are existent in the world. And that's pretty much it for the first chapter. Like I said, I really enjoyed this. As you saw, I already have volume 2. I'm definitely ready to read more of this series. And see what happens. I think Volume 3 just hit Barnes & Noble, so we'll definitely have another manga to read in the future. But other than that, I'll talk more about what happens later in the series, or well, not in the series, but in this single volume. So if you are interested, if this piques your interest, go pick up Orient. It's really interesting. I like it a lot. It is a little bit of a slow burn. I felt like very little was covered in this first volume compared to most manga where I feel like a lot is covered in the first volume. But other than that, thanks for watching. And from here on, I'm going to talk more spoiler. So the rest of the manga. The rest of the manga does deal with Musashi saying that he's just faking being a miner, and he's actually going to go out and be a samurai. One of these moments is what happens is he ends up like saying he's going to go to school the next day and shout, and he gets all the way to the acceptance ceremony. They send him out to be a miner. They open or before we get there, before I skip it, he does have a sit down with Kojiro where Kojiro's like, nah, I'm not going to be a samurai. It's foolish. My dad was lying to me. And you're learning that Kojiro might have been going through some shit since he's a samurai. So Musashi goes out. The doors open. They're like, come see our gods. And there's these horrendous cat demons that are forcing humans to mine for them so that they can get what they want and they can take it to their god that's sitting up upon the hill, and doing what they want. And Musashi says, you know what? Nope. I'm committing to this. I'm going to be a samurai. And sort of a fight ensues. And then in between, interspersed with this fighting, you see a bit more of Kojiro, and you learn that Kojiro went through a lot. When you are a samurai, they literally like chain a samurai sword with you, and so he's getting bullied in school, made fun of for being from the family of samurai, and he is struggling with his resolve to be what he truly is because he hates how he's been treated because of it. And that's a lot of what his character development is throughout this first volume, while Musashi, on the other hand, didn't get any of that because he wasn't a samurai. He just wanted to be a samurai because of what Kojiro's dad told him. And from there, it breaks out. And I'm going to be honest, the most of the rest of this volume is a giant fight with this crazy looking demon lord. And so what it is they go up to this mountain, they find a little dumb egg, and then boom, it blows open, and there's a ginormous demon lord, and Musashi's going to fight. And essentially, Musashi is your Naruto, your Ichigo, your Luffy. He's sort of the not thinking of his own health, crazy sort of Shonen Jump protagonist, while Kojiro is more of your Sasuke, your, I guess, maybe Zoro. I don't know who else to connect him to. Your Rukia from Bleach. You know, he's trying to be more calm-headed, not dash into a fight without trying to get in trouble, things like that. So you're constantly seeing Kojiro fight with his will to fight because it seems like they're up against insurmountable odds, while Musashi is the typical character who's like, no, I'm going to do this because this is our dream, and I'm going to make our dream come true because you're my best friend and I promised you this. So, you know, there is some of the generic tropes of a shonen in there. What I think this one makes up for is just having very fun combat. Now, I'll be honest, it does get a little confusing sometimes because they're drawing these gorgeous giant drawings. I'm sort of lost where Musashi is and Kojiro and what they're doing. But the fighting is great. There's some great moments where Musashi is helping Kojiro regain his samurai sword. He loses it once, and that's sort of what drives Kojiro, is once he loses his chain that's been holding him down, he realizes how important it was to him because it's his last memento of his father and stuff like that. And it drives him to get in the fight. And right as they're getting in the fight, right as they think they've defeated their demon lord, he's cracked open his stomach. These band of samurai, they're known as the Takeda band of samurai, show up. They're all on motorcycles. Kojiro shows up on a motorcycle too. So this is where it gets a little weird. I don't know how futuristic we are. There's just motorcycles, and they call them metal horses. And they show up, and they start getting ready to fight the dude. And we're talking like 50 people probably in this band, so like a lot of people fighting, and you still have Musashi just going up being like, nope, I'm going to take on this giant demon lord all by myself, going to take him down with my pickaxe. And then other fun things they do, you learn that Musashi, even though he's had this pickaxe, it sort of looks just like a double-sided scythe, he uses it like a samurai sword. And they like mimic how like he slams into the ground at one point. They're like, oh, that's his sheath, and he's practicing what my father preached to him. So I think that's pretty crazy and fun. The samurai, I don't think we've fully been involved in what their names are. I know we've learned like the main leader of it. I'm gonna guess his name's Takeda, but essentially they come in, they're trying to, and Musashi's like, no, you're not taking our first kill. This is us making our own band of samurai. And he goes up. Everything's being epic. He's running up, even though they think he's crazy, to go take on this monster. He jumps on his belly. He's told where the weak point is. He goes up to attack the weak point, and bang. He doesn't win. His scythe pickaxe thing breaks, and the other guy says, sorry, this is my kill. Takes it, and that's pretty much your setup. That's where your first volume's going to end. There's some details I'm obviously leaving out. I'm more summarizing what happened. But yeah, it has me intrigued because obviously the second volume is going to be more learning about what bands of samurai are. This one was just heavy world building. That's why I think it was slow, as it took them the whole first volume to take down the first villain. Usually they beat the first villain in like a chapter or two, and then you learn about the world. Instead, they decided to show you just really awesome combat and action all on the pages to just lead up to say, hey, you'll learn more about it in the next volume, essentially. You'll learn about all these new characters. Like, they even show them, I'm going to show the book again, they show all these people. So these are, I guess, all the samurais from the Takeda samurai band. You don't even meet them. You meet this guy, Musashi, and you meet Kojiro. That's it. Those are your characters. So There's definitely a lot more for me to learn here, and I'm excited because of how gorgeous it looks. And like I said, so overall, I'm actually really engaged in this series. I think it looks really good. I think it read really good and all that. So it's definitely a high recommend at this point. Like, I'm going to be digesting these first 3 volumes as fast as I can to get videos out to y'all and so that I can enjoy them. Other than that, that's about it. If you've read Magi, tell me what you thought about it. I think the mangaka for this is it's, I'm sorry, I gotta look at it. It's Shinobu Otaka, and I think that's actually a female mangaka. I think she's the person who made Magi was a female, and that person is making Orient is. So yeah, just tell me your thoughts on Magi. If you've read Orient, what your thoughts are. Is it living up to what that mangaka was known for? Anything like that. Other than that, have a great day, y'all. I'm reading, let's see if you can see it. You can sort of see it. This little pile right here above my backpack is 5 of the 10 volumes of Nichijou, and I've been flipping through that as like a fun, chill manga, because at the bottom, you can barely see it. Right over there is like, yeah, I'm going to cover it up, is Neon Evangelion. I have a lot of manga I've been reading on my own, including on my phone with the Shonen Jump app. Still finishing up Bleach, getting there. I actually have the light novel for it on there also. So I've got a lot of manga reading ahead. I still have a pretty big pile here, but I've stopped adding to my manga volume by volume pile till I get more of these videos out to y'all. Other than that, thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a like and a comment your thoughts. What mangas are you reading? Are you liking them? You reading Chainsaw Man, Dr. Stone? I actually have that here. Little fun for you. All that, I love to hear from y'all. I've just been enjoying getting back into manga again and having some fun. So other than that, have a good one.